breaking news. Later this afternoon, President McRude will be questioned by fellow senators after a subpoena by the U.S. Congress following martial law rumors and inner circle speculations.
Are you serious? He was just sworn into office 2 months ago, and he's already facing legal issues. This is gonna be a long 4 years. Assuming he doesn't get impeached and removed from office until then. Yeah.
Once the hearing starts.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all for being here today, ladies and gentlemen. As part of our Senate session today on March 12, 2022, we will be questioning President Franklin G. McRude over speculations of martial law. First, we're gonna start off with Senator Wilson of Connecticut. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I answer any questions, I just want to say that I believe that the President should be subject to judicial scrutiny. He should be behind bars, not the desk of the Oval Office. During his term as mayor of Plotagon City, the President never bothered to put up proper security measures. Every recorded figure who entered the mayor's office were just simply labeled guests, rather than citing their personal information. Ignoring this can be dangerous, as the President could have allowed spies into his office without anyone knowing it. So, the question I have for you, Mr. President, why did you not include the names of anyone that entered your office as mayor? Did you seriously just allow anybody to enter your office? What if they were spies?
Not everyone wants the personal information released into the public domain, much less people who just want to interview the mayor. Automatically assuming I'm letting spies inside and giving them equipment to bug the offices of oppositions during my presidential campaign is downright insane.
I didn't say anything about giving spies equipment. What do you mean by that?
I plead the fifth.
Fine. Next question. Why the heck do you have the Seattle members as your senior advisors? They are very well known for worshipping CMB Gamer 2018.exe. You know what? I think that not only did you allow spies into your office to steal from oppositions during your tenure as mayor, but you are appointing CMB Gamer 2018.exe loyalists as your advisors, because you secretly admire him.
No, none of that's true.
We're only a few minutes into this hearing, and the President is already having a mental breakdown. And with that, I yield, Mr. Chairman. Next we have Senator Victoria from New Jersey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I ask any questions, I just want to give a little background as to what I'm gonna ask about. On January 22nd, 2 days after his inauguration, President McRude had finally appointed his cabinet members. It's already suspicious that he didn't announce he was choosing any of them until after his inauguration, but after some research, I found something even more suspicious. Secretary of Defense George Darwin, Secretary of Commerce Michael Kershaw, and Secretary of the Interior David Freeman. They all have one thing in common with the President, and that is, they all graduated from the same high school. When I discovered this, I tracked down as many of President McRude's high school alumni and teachers I could find, and I put together all of the evidence into a slideshow. Mr. Chairman, I request to present a slideshow onto the Senate floor.
Without objection.
Thank you. In 1981, McRude and Darwin met each other while they were both attending Northwood High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They both wanted a career related to politics, which led to them both eventually meeting and becoming good friends. Darwin was a senior while McRude was a junior. In 1982, Darwin graduated high school, 1 year ahead of McRude, and entered the military shortly thereafter. Once he entered the military, he lost contact with McRude. However, they found each other years later at an alumni association and stayed in contact. As for Secretary Kershaw and Secretary Darwin, they did not know McRude in high school, as Kershaw graduated in 1979 and Freeman graduated in 1992. However, an alleged phone call between McRude and Darwin, which I received from the archives of the mayor's office of Plotagon City, tells me something new. In the call, Darwin tells McRude that if he wants to win the election, he must appeal to former Northwood High School alumni as they are not from the prosecution, with McRude responding that he will see to that. I should note that the phone call dates several months before McRude announced his 2021 presidential campaign. In fact, the phone call occurred in 2020, only a couple weeks after McRude was sworn in as mayor of Plotagon City. You know what I think? I think that the individuals invited to the mayor's office, which Senator Wilson mentioned earlier, were former Northwood High School alumni who were invited by McRude to discuss the 2021 election. I think that he hired spies to steal from oppositions to help his campaign. I also think that McRude becoming mayor was a part of a strategy to rise to political power. So Mr. President, is it true that during your tenure as mayor of Plotagon City, you and Darwin tracked down political figures who graduated the same high school as you both to discuss your then upcoming presidential campaign? And is it true that you allowed these individuals to steal from oppositions during your tenure as mayor in exchange for positions within your future cabinet?
No, while it is true that I have known Secretary Darwin since high school, I only appointed him because of his sense of duty. He became a lieutenant before retiring in 2016, which I found very impressive. As for Secretary Kershaw and Secretary Freeman, I appointed them because they seemed like the best people for the jobs. It has nothing to do with the fact that I share the same high school as them. And I did not invite them to my office during my tenure as mayor.
I don't believe that for a second. I have one last question. I wanted to ask you about the recent resignation of your Health and Human Services Secretary, Dr. Frederick Hoffman. Rumors speculate that you forced him to resign because he criticized you for appointing loyalists from the same high school as you as key figures within your cabinet. Is that true?
No.
You announced yesterday that Dr. Katie Henderson was going to replace Dr. Hoffman. Are you aware that she also graduated from Northwood High School?
Yes.
If she is confirmed, that would be the fourth person within your cabinet to have graduated the same high school as you. Do you not realize how suspicious and potentially dangerous all of this is? The idea of a president sharing the same high school with four of his cabinet members is suspicious and potentially dangerous. There have been times in history where foreign leaders declared martial law with the help of their inner circles.
I do not agree. In the past, there have indeed been cases in this country's history where the president and the HHS Secretary were from the same high school. Plus, with the United States of America, not any of those foreign countries. There has never been a dictatorship in US history, and it will stay that way.
Senator Victoria, your time has expired. Moving on.
A few hours later, once the hearing was done.
Breaking news. President McRude's congressional hearing has concluded. In the hearing, McRude pled the fifth upon being asked if he allowed spies into his office during his tenure as mayor. He also denied the rumors that he forced HHS Secretary Hoffman to resign because he criticized him. The president was also criticized by several senators for choosing Katie Henderson as his new HHS secretary. Most importantly, President McRude denied martial law and inner circle accusations. He stated that he only appointed George Darwin as his defense secretary for his sense of duty, not because of their high school relations. He also claimed that there was nothing suspicious about choosing Katie Henderson as his new HHS secretary because, quote, there have been cases where the president and the HHS secretary were from the same high school in the past.
He is definitely planning something. Yeah. I'm going to call Jeff and see what he thinks. Hey Jeff, did you see the news?
Yeah, I did. I cannot believe people chose McRude as president rather than my grandpa. I'm going to go over to the White House and complain to the president myself.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, I think I actually will.
Well, good luck I guess.
To be continued.